Oh, incredible Goblin Raptor, take me to your leader.
Okay!
Hello then, my fellow hunters! Are you still enjoying that euphoria of Sunbreak news? Are you still like I am looking longingly, deeply into the eyes of Garangoln? It really is a friendship ended with Garangoln is my new best friend type moment. But there is a lot more to the information that we got today under the surface. A lot of hidden gems waiting to be excavated, and a lot of extra detail looking us in the face if only we knew how to look back. So that's what I would like to do, well, right now. A few little key factors that I think are gonna very much tickle your fancy. So if that sounds good, simply raise your hand and tell me what you want to know!
Me, I do!
Let's start tamely then, and head over to the new hunter actions side of things, i.e. our new endemic life and general mobility. First and foremost, wall running. This is an incredibly good quality of life change. You know how in base Rise you can only wall run by, well, wire bugging into a wall. If it's off charge, you still have to press it and hop onto the wall, and if you do your air dash, you just slap against the wall and slide down, and it just kinda is a little bit clunky. There's also a lot of times where you accidentally start wall running mid-hunt when you weren't meaning to, as you accidentally throw yourself against a wall while dodging a monster. Well, firstly, good news, that can just be disabled now. You have in-combat and out-of-combat selective options for when wall running would happen. But more than that, you can just sprint run into walls and start running up them, which is beautiful. And you can dash towards them as well and start running up them. Basically, it's just been made incredibly smoother and a lot more along the lines of, if you would expect this to make you start wall running, then now it will, and that is glorious. You know what else is glorious?
The God Bug!
Yes, we have morphed wire bugs. These are variations of the wire bugs we can pick up extra in the field, and if you grab them, well, you get some extra juice, as it were. There is the ruby wire bug and the gold wire bug. Both of them generally make it easier for wyvern riding to happen, and they make your wire bugs come back faster, so incredibly valuable in that regard. The ruby one specifically makes mounted punishers, well, really punishing. It hefts up the damage of them, and I imagine this will turn actually a wyvern ride into a punish a properly damaging option in a hunter's arsenal. If you get a ruby, you're going to want to seek out that wyvern ride. Obviously, wyvern riding already does a lot of damage, so I'm hoping this doesn't tip it over the edge, but it's very, very cool this is a thing. The gold one then, you have it so your wyvern rides make it more likely for a monster to drop a material when you hit them. This one's interesting to me because currently there's a hard limit of 3 material drops per monster per wyvern ride against them. So does gold wire bug break that limit, or does it just make you reach the limit faster? If it breaks the limit, there might be some ludicrous farming methods using these new shiny boys. Alright, now let's talk monsters, because you see this guy just casually having a chat with the new smith. He's wearing Velocidrome armor. Like, just full on, he's wearing Velocidrome armor, and that's curious to say the least. It's kind of a casual throwaway confirmation, question mark? This existing basically has one of 4 permeations. Number 1, nothing to do with Velocidrome is in the game, it's just a random armor set aesthetic they threw on this random NPC. I didn't think any further. That I find hard to believe. That is a uncharacteristic lack of attention to detail, and it's also weird to use a random monster's armor set if they're not represented in game in any way. That's not really a thing that happens, especially as it'd be a huge waste of production time creating those assets for an armor set that isn't going to be relevant because the monster behind it isn't relevant. So the actual main 3 options then are, number 1, Velocidrome as a small monster will be in the game, and you can make this armor set from just the small monster materials, but there's no drone. Number 2, Velocidrome is going to be in Sunbreak. Or, number 3, a way to get materials from monsters not in the game is going to be in Sunbreak. the Wyporium, anyone? Ooh, that would be exciting, wouldn't it? But before we explore that one, I think the first two are definitely worth looking at. It's entirely possible we'll just get Velocidrome and we can make this armor off them. We've had examples improve in Rise of small monsters being in without their big boy counterparts, and that might be well what's happening here. A Velocidrome, while cool to finally see him in updated Monster Hunter looking good, the OG original first large monster anyone who played Monster Hunter 1 encountered, he's not terribly interesting. And I don't think we really need him in a world of Roggy and Baggy and Izuchi and potentially Goblin Leader 1. I just feel like he doesn't have that zest that he used to back in the day unless you really remade him, and honestly I would love a actual high tier endgame difficult Raptor monster. I think they are overdue having a ridiculously powerful randomly like Elder Dragon level member. I think that would be really fun. We don't really get tiny relative to other monsters in super powerful packages very often. Basically kind of just Kirin and maybe you could argue Rajang, although he's not exactly the smallest thing in the world. So Super Raptor would be cool, but I don't think it should take the form of a remade amped up Velocidrome. In any case then, let's actually look at that point 3, the Wyporium. This was a mechanic in the 4th gen whereby you could essentially trade for materials from monsters that weren't in the game so that while you can't hunt them, you could get their armor set. There is a little bit of a precedent for this maybe being a thing, because the Wycoon, the guy who runs it, is part of the caravan that Guildman is part of, and Guildman potentially was teased by the glasses that were teased by Monster Hunter for Sunbreak. So there is that tenuous connection, and it is a heavily requested feature to come back, because it is a really nice way to bring in more armor sets without having to bring in more monsters. So if Velocidrome materials is our first little example tease of this, well, this is a nice subtle way to plant that seed, so definitely keep an eye on this one. Finally then, talking of our Goblin Leader, this is obviously a small raptor. Tusks, ears, goblin, yes, we like it, and I really do like it. The more I see this guy, the more I think he's hilarious. The floppy tongue, his just general quirky personality, but will they have a big? Well, you would think so, right? But this raises an interesting question. Why wouldn't it have been shown already? Presumably it's a low tier, early game, well, early master rank monster, but they just didn't see it. They went straight to the big boys, the lords. I mean, that gets the main core of the game across. Sure, are they just going to throw away Goblin Leader in another trailer at some point, just offhandedly show him, mention him? Or is he going to be more of a big deal? That's where I kind of was pondering, but then there is this screenshot going around that like 1 billion people have now made sure I have seen, that seemingly has the big boy version of the goblins in. I will give you a chance now to look away if you don't want to spoil yourself. Indeed, whether this is even legit, I don't know, but I will give you that opportunity now. For everyone else that wants to see it, well, 3, 2, 1, here we go. Now, I cannot find this in the trailer or the presentation. It does look very similar to an environment shot on the official Sunbreak website, but not identical, so I'm kind of mystified where this is coming from, but of course it's worth, looking at. We have the ice part of the Citadel, the new map, and sticking out from the rocks is the, well, large version of our new mystery raptor. We can't really see much of him, he's a little bit blurry, but I mean, he's definitely there, and he does look very cool. Yes, they do very much give me hyena vibes as well, and he does look like he's got quite the nice amount of personality going on. There's not really enough here to tell much about him, so I would much rather wait till he gets more deliberately put in a trailer, but that's still definitely interesting to see. I really wonder what's going on here with him. And then a final note to touch on the other new monsters, the 3 lords. It is very cool that the new map, the Citadel, essentially has a big castle ruin area, foresty area with the kind of insect swamp in, and then the ice area, and Malzeno rules the castle, our new gorilla rock Frankenstein boy, and yes, he's based on a golem, not specifically Frankenstein, but, you know, the classic story of the golem. That's his myth that is being brought to life to Lanagaron's wolf and Malzeno's vampire. Garangoln is the ruler of the foresty area, and then, obviously, Lanagaron is the ruler of the ice area. So 3 kingdoms, 3 kingdom monsters, 3 lords, all vying for territory, expanding outwards. Why are they being extra aggressive? That's the story. That's a really nice little hook to get our teeth stuck into and figure out what's going on. And I do wonder if at all and how other monsters will play into that, and what the undoubtedly secret big elder dragon boss at the very end will be doing to probably, let's be honest, instigate and meddle with the whole thing, causing them to be extra aggressive. In any case, I hope you found this interesting, useful, certainly food for thought, and yeah, let me know how that Sunbreak hype is treating you. Like if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more. Please consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.